Shaun O'Hara, NFL Network analyst, former Giants NFL lineman, and judging from some of the comments that he had yesterday, tweeted after Eli was benched, so incredibly disappointed and frustrated with the Giants right now. The defense gives up 63 points in 2 games. Wide receiving group is depleted, but let's change our quarterback. And Shaun, kind enough to join us. Why did they make this change, Shaun?
Hey, Dan. Yeah, great question. I don't get it. Timing is everything, obviously. I don't understand the move after 2 weeks. Granted, I'm not saying this is a Super Bowl caliber team, but we started out 0-2 in 2007 and turned things around. I just think the way that they lost the first 2 games, the fact that the defense didn't stop anybody, the fact that you were going against 2 of the best defenses in the NFL, and the Dallas Cowboys and the Buffalo Bills, and you did it kind of shorthanded at the wide receiver position. I don't think you got a great glimpse of what your offense can really be and do. So it just doesn't feel like they gave this year a chance. I think if we're talking about week 6 or week 7 and they've got 1 win or 2 wins, I think it's easy to wrap your head around and you understand it. But, this isn't about Eli being beloved. Everybody loves Eli, and, his legacy is already cemented. But it's about, aren't you tired of losing? Aren't you? What gives you the best chance to win? And contrary to public belief in some areas, Eli can still throw the ball. He made some great throws. He missed a couple things against Buffalo, but he still made some great throws. The touchdown throw to T.J. Jones in the back of the end zone, he had 1 receiver run her out. The other 2 guys had brain farts, and they didn't even go out on the pass play, and he found a way to make a touchdown out of that. He threw a great ball up the sideline on 3rd and 9, and it gets dropped right before the half, and then they miss a field goal right after that. So I see all this dysfunction going on around the quarterback, and I see the same thing happening if you switch out the quarterback. So the quarterback has been the biggest part that anybody discusses for the New York Giants over the last 3 years, and the roster around the quarterback has been awful. That is what's disappointing. That's what's frustrating. We could sit here and talk all we want about the quarterback play, but until you get a defense that can rush the passer and affect the quarterback rhythm, until you get some people on the back end that can cover people, until you get some receivers that are going to get open and catch the football, I don't care who plays quarterback. It's not going to equal wins, and that's what I think Giants fans are frustrated. I know Giants alumni people are frustrated. I know people in that building are frustrated.
Yeah, but this is what I think is happening, Shaun. I think that the Giants took inventory. I don't know why it took 2 weeks to take inventory. First of all, I wouldn't have brought Eli back because you drafted this quarterback. In today's day and age, when you draft a quarterback that high, he's playing pretty much right away. But I think Giants have taken inventory and realizing we're not any good. Let's give you a reason to continue to come out so you can see the future here in Daniel Jones. Do I like him playing now? I don't. But I wouldn't have brought Eli back if I knew 2 weeks in that you were going to have Daniel Jones starting. Your thoughts?
I agree with at some point, yeah. Daniel Jones is the future. There's no question about it. As soon as he was picked 6th overall, it was just, okay, it's Daniel Jones' team. Just when does that start? And, I didn't think it would start in week 2. I still look at this year, and if I'm a player on that team, don't tell me about next year, because if I'm on the last year of my contract, or if I signed a 1-year deal, or if this is my 10th year in the league, I don't want to hear about next year. You think Kevin Zeitler wants to hear about next year? You think Nate Solder and some of these veteran guys that have been around the league for a long time, next year is not given for anybody. So I need to find a way to try to win now. And I think, one of the things that's tough when you play a young quarterback is the growing pains. There are things that you're going to see as an offense with a rookie quarterback that you're not going to see with a veteran quarterback. And I remember when Eli came in as a rookie in 2004, we were 5-4. It was week 9. Kurt Warner was upset, and rightfully so, because he had a winning record. We had a chance to still make the playoffs, and yet they brought in Eli. And guess what happened? We lost 6 straight games, and that was it. I mean, we didn't get a win until Week 17 against Dallas, and that year was basically a wash.
And you bring up a great point, Shaun, because I wanted to bring that up, that, it's the circle of life for a quarterback, that Eli bumped Kurt Warner, who was decorated, won an MVP, won a Super Bowl, and all of a sudden has a winning record. And then you get Eli in there after Week 9, and he wasn't ready to go in there. But, for whatever reason, they put him in there. So Eli has to understand. He has to know what, and I know Kurt Warner was upset that they benched Eli this way, but, Kurt handled it like a professional, and Eli will too. But, do you keep him? Does he go play someplace else? Do you see him playing someplace else?
I don't see it. I know he wants to play. I spoke with him this summer, and briefly we just talked about, hey man, is it still burning? And he said, yeah, man, I love the game, and he loves not just the game, because everybody loves the games, but it's, do you still love the preparation and everything that goes into it, the workouts through the off season, training, throwing, doing all that. He still enjoys that. I'll say this, though, Dan. I don't know if he's ready to wholeheartedly put on another jersey.
Yeah.
I think when anybody that knows Eli knows that playing for the Giants means something to him. Being the quarterback, it's something special. He watched his dad have to move on to another team as a young kid. He saw Peyton do it. I think, there's some old school in Eli. I think it means something to him to have only played for one team. I don't think it's, certainly not financially any motivation for him to go somewhere else. Maybe his tune would change if the perfect situation came about. I mean, he watched Peyton go to Denver and win a Super Bowl with a great team. So maybe if something like that, he couldn't pass down. But I think given where his family situation is, I don't see him wanting to go play somewhere else, uproot his family, and do all that just to try to chase down, another year or two.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
I think so. Everybody has a different definition of who belongs in the Hall of Fame. There are a lot of people right now that belong in the Hall of Fame that aren't in. I think Carl Banks should be in the Hall of Fame. I think O.J. Anderson should be in the Hall of Fame, and they're not. It took Harry Carson 13 times to get in.
Yeah.
So, that's a frustrating process. But here's the way I define a Hall of Famer. Was this player one of the best at his position during an extended period of time in the NFL? During his prime, was he one of the best? And Eli was. I think when you look at, the Super Bowls, obviously people are going to go right to that, but I don't think playing in the Super Bowl and winning a Super Bowl necessarily has to give you the pass into the Hall of Fame. That's
at that position, it does, though. At quarterback, it's a bottom line sports society, and we want to know, did you win the big one? It's rare when we go, like Dan Marino was so special that he lost his one Super Bowl appearance, but he was so special at what he did. He was ahead of his time, that we anoint him. Like Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is going to be a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Really?
I think he's got a shot.
Man, you're more generous than I thought.
I am, and here's my thing. I feel like the Hall of Fame. What's the big deal if we got 5 floors? I don't like how they have made some guys that deserve to be in there wait so long. I know we made the announcement that they're going to let 10 people in this year. I think they should have no limit on how many guys get in. Make it like baseball. And if you get enough votes to get in, you're in.
Wait, have you been listening to my show, Shaun? I've been saying for years you have a basement, first floor, second floor, third floor, penthouse, and you want to have Montana in the penthouse and whoever else and Brady, and that's okay. And if you happen to be on the second floor, then okay, you're still in the building. That's all you want to be, in the building.
I think the people in Canton would love a skyscraper. I'm with you on that. I think the postseason play, to your point, it does weigh more with quarterbacks, especially when you look at the way that Eli played. So I just kind of lump the postseason into all of it, the playoffs and the Super Bowl. Eli played his best football throughout the entire postseason. Now, that run we had in 2007, he was lights out. It wasn't just the Super Bowl. I mean, he played well against Dallas. He played well in Green Bay in the Frozen game, as we all know. In San Francisco in the NFC Championship game in 2011. He played lights out when it mattered most. Even go back to the playoff game 3 years ago in Green Bay. He played his butt off.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks dropped the ball.
You got a
He
favorite
played lights
story,
out.
though. You got a favorite Eli story? Because like off field or anything, because it doesn't sound like people got a lot of Eli stories with his personality.
There's lots of great stories about Eli. Some of them you can't always tell. You could tell over a couple beers. You can't do it where it's going to be regurgitated and come back to haunt anybody.
Can he pound beers?
Oh yeah, he can make them disappear with the best of them. So here's one. Eli. Look, he's always taken care of guys. He's always just kind of been pure class. He'd always find a way to have some cold beverages for his horses. After every game, no doubt. But
you guys were the horses.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So he bought beers for his line.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's some good stories. I think one of my favorites is probably in 2007. There's 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. So we win the NFC Championship game. We come back from Green Bay. We've got that first week where you kind of put the game plan in. Everybody's excited. You're trying to figure out logistics, travel, tickets, all this stuff. So, that week is a little bit of a blur, but you're kind of loose too because there's no game. And people are having fun and doing all that. So we had a good week. But then the next week, all right, and now it's game prep time. So we get ready to leave our facility, and we're going to fly to Arizona to get ready. And I think it was a Monday, and we're flying out. Well, we get done with practice. We come in, everybody showers, gets cleaned up. We had meetings right after practice. So guys came in, and some guys went right into the meeting room and didn't shower yet. They were going to shower afterwards. Well, while we're in the meeting rooms, Eli had strategically had the equipment guys buy dress shoes in all of his offensive linemen sizes. And he had them spray painted bright purple and bright pink. And while we were in meetings, he had them go around and take all of our dress shoes out of our lockers and put these painted dress shoes in so that we would have to wear a suit on the plane when you travel. That was Tom Coughlin's rule. Attach significance to game day. So when we came to our lockers and started getting dressed and got your suit on, you pulled your shoes out of your shoe bag, and they were bright purple, bright pink. And everybody's looking around like, what the heck's going on here? This was his master plan to get us to have to walk onto the team plane dressed like clowns in these bright shoes. Luckily for me, I lived 5 minutes from the facility. I texted my wife, who was my fiance at the time. I said, you got to bring me an extra pair of dress shoes. Eli stole our shoes. I'm not dressing like Bozo the Clown on the plane. I'm never going to live it down. So she bailed me out, brought me an extra pair of shoes. But Richie Soybert wears size 16, and he looked like Bozo the Clown. He had to walk by John Mara on the plane, and John just looked down and just cracked up laughing. And then as you got to your seat, in a shoe bag was your original dress shoes. So that just as classy as he always has been. It's a great joke, but hey, you know what? Here's your real shoes for after the prank is over with.
Good to talk to you, Shaun. Always great. Good luck the rest of the season. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
That's Shaun O'Hara, NFL Network analyst, former Giants NFL lineman.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.